Welcome, folks. I'm Jaby Koay, joined by Achara Kirk.
What's up?
We're looking at Eternals pitch meeting from Screen Rant. Thank you, Screen Rant, for allowing us to react to this. Very, very much appreciated. Y'all, if you haven't seen it yet, we have reviews for Eternals on this channel. And for full disclosure, I didn't love the movie. Achara liked it okay. I liked it okay. We watched it a second time, and I came out thinking, definitely liked it okay.
Definitely liked it better.
Okay, yeah, I did appreciate it a little bit more the second time around, and if y'all would like to see a second viewing review for that movie, let us know in the comments below, please, and we will produce that for you. Anywho, Eternals pitch meeting. So this is from Ryan George. Ryan George has his own YouTube channel, just by the by. You guys should check that out if you can. Check it out if you can. Wow, 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 wow.
Wow.
Okay.
I wonder what the super easy, barely an inconvenience moment is going to be, because I can think of quite a few places
I'm
where
waiting
it
with
could happen.
bated breath. Here we go.
So, you have a new superhero movie for me? Yes, sir, I do. And it's a team of superheroes, right? Oh boy. We're talking a speedster, a lady with ancient weapons, a super strong guy that flies and shoots beams from his eyes. Yeah, then there's Batman and Aquaman. You're not in the right offices, my dude. Oh, no, I'm talking about the Eternals. Are you sure? I'm pretty sure, yeah. Okay, great. So who are the main characters in this thing? We've got some great main characters. We've got Cersei and Icarus. Okay, good. And Thena. And Gilgamesh. Oh, a couple more. Okay. And also Kingo and Makari. You're still going. And that's it for the characters, other than Sprite and Druid. Oh, okay. All right. So those are the Eternals. Also
And
Ajax
Ajax.
and Phastos. Okay, and you have enough time to introduce and develop all these characters? Maybe. Sounds like maybe this should be a Disney Plus series.
That's what we've been
give this all a bit
saying.
more breathing room. We could shove them into a single movie. It's fine. Well, okay then. So what's the deal with these characters? Oh, well, they've been around for thousands of years, doing stuff like standing in a line and staring in the same direction
Yes.
dramatically. Nice.
You didn't mind that. I'm the one that was complaining about it.
I know, but once you brought it up, I couldn't unsee it. And when we were watching it the second time, and
The
they're
Babylon
standing
scene.
in front of the
Babylon.
gate to Babylon, right? And then you were like, why are they just standing there?
Yeah, that's
like, what's the point?
That was one of those moments in the theater where I look at her, I go, because it's so loud, like you can't hear each other, right? Because it's an IMAX screening or IMAX movie. I just don't understand why they're all sort of posing at whoever. I don't even know if anybody else was out there because they all went inside
They
the
all went
gates.
inside, yeah. They all went inside. They posed for the deviants.
For the camera.
You know, it's like, hey, deviants, we're gonna kill you with our superpowers and our super style.
I want to second what he said there about the Disney Plus thing.
Yes.
I've been saying that. This should have been
Agreed.
broken up into a show.
Agreed.
Nice. Having philosophical conversations, but only at golden hour. Why even talk at any other time of day? There's no point. And also, some of these characters are in love with each other. Oh, they are? Yeah, like when Icarus first wakes up, he sees this other Eternal, and he's smitten. So he's like, hi, I'm Icarus. And she's like, I'm sassy. Oh, being sassy is tight. Oh, no, sorry, her name is Cersei. She just has a British accent. I still stand by what I said. Fair enough. So these Eternals were sent by a Celestial to protect humans, right? Okay, so then why didn't they help out when Thanos attacked? Ah, well, see, they were instructed to only fight these deviant monsters and to not interfere in human affairs. Oh. Okay. And also they introduced technology to humans, which humans then use to kill each other. Okay, that feels like getting involved in human conflict. Somehow that doesn't count. Oh, okay, and so you said they all have powers? They do, yeah. One of them has super strength, one of them can make illusions and is a child, and another one could do mind control, which obviously he's not allowed to use. And these Eternals were created by Celestials to go fight deviants. That's right. And why not give them each all the powers? Unclear. So anyway, they wiped out all these deviants like 500 years ago, and then they kind of split up.
Okay, so hold on. Yeah, regarding why didn't the Celestial give the Eternals blank? Like, there are so many questions that start like that.
Well, yeah, because like if you really think about it, the most perfect Eternal would be one that had all the powers, because then, say for example, we all know that we lose Ajax fairly early on, right?
Yeah.
And she has the cool power of healing.
Yeah.
And so after she's gone, how are you gonna heal yourself really quick? Like, you have to just go through a normal healing process. However, if you were like Wolverine and you could heal and you had super strength and you could fly, like, you would just be a cool package.
Like
you know?
the Deviant. who was healing himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
why
well,
do they have to cripple them
I
like
mean,
that?
there might be a greater purpose to this whole thing. Like,
They're part of a team. They
Well-
have to be a family, a unit, and stick together.
it might have something to do with like a checks and balances system so that it keeps everything. I don't know. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I have to assume there's like a checks and balances to all of it.
Maybe.
Also, it just makes it easier to tell the story.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, look, this is a cool character thing for this one character.
Yeah.
Like, she's super fast, or
Yeah.
he's super strong.
Wiped out all these deviants like 500 years ago, and then they kind of split up. Okay. But then deviants start popping up again, and Ajax gets killed. Oh, she's one of the characters, I think. I'm almost sure of it. That's right. Yeah, we'll learn a little more about her later, but for now, just be sad about that, okay? I'll try, but I don't really know who that is, to be honest. So now that the deviants are back and an Eternal is dead, they gotta get the band back together. Oh boy. And so... You know, there are so many characters that pretty much takes up the whole movie. Oh, it does? Okay. Yeah, like they go pick up Kingo, who's now a Bollywood star, so that's fun. That's fun. Oh, yeah. And side note, I already have Kumail Nanjiani interested in playing the role. Oh, you do? Yeah, he's super motivated. He said he's gonna work out for like a year to get in Marvel shape, you know, like crazy ripped and muscular. Oh, you know what'd be funny? If we have him do all that work and then we don't even give him one of those classic Marvel shirtless
Right?
scenes. Oh, that's a hilarious prank. Okay, let's do that.
gypped
A very
him!
good prank. So then what happens? Well, we're also going to find out the real reason they were all sent to Earth to stop deviants from killing humans. And why is that? Well, see, once the Earth reaches the necessary population, a celestial can be born from the Earth's core, and everyone on the planet will die. Oh no. Yeah, it's pretty serious, and the Eternals have unknowingly been doing this a lot, but every time a celestial is born, they get their memories wiped. Okay, so if that's how new celestials are born, it definitely feels like it would have been in their interest to get involved in the Thanos situation of wiping out half of all populations. Maybe, but see, the thing is, we already didn't introduce the Eternals into the Avengers movies, so I'm gonna need you to get all the way off my back about this. Oh yeah, okay, let me get off of that thing. Oh, I should also mention that there's this one deviant monster that's like evolving and growing intelligence every time he kills an Eternal. Oh boy, I bet that's gonna come into play later. Not particularly. Oh. Yeah, he's like, oh man, I guess we're all just pawns of Celestials, huh? And then he's gonna show up in the final fight and just kind of get killed. Feels like an interesting concept to flesh out more. Well, there's no time. You know we're doing like 8-hour Disney Plus Marvel shows now. You can't explore this stuff. No. Take all these fascinating ideas and characters and shove them into a single movie and then just kind of speed run through them. Well, okay then. So what does happen in the final fight? Oh, well, see, we're gonna find out that Icarus is actually cool with the plan of the Celestials. He's okay with everybody dying. Oh, and he's the one who killed Ajax by pushing her into a pile of deviants. Very rude. And so Sprite, who's secretly in love with him, she follows him, and then Kingo is like, I don't even want to be in the third act, so he leaves. I mean, up to him, I guess. So how does the movie end? Well, the Eternals need to stop this giant, massive celestial that's actively emerging from the Earth's core. Sounds like it's going to be hard to do that. Actually, it's going to be super easy. Barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yes, he turns out they can amplify one of the Eternals' powers, so Cersei just turns this thing to like marble. And a giant being emerging from the core of the Earth that doesn't have any effect on the Earth, you know, like planet-wise? No. Oh, okay, great.
That was the thing that I think we called, because we were asking ourselves a lot, like, what is going to be the super easy, barely an inconvenience moment? And I was thinking while watching it, I'm like, it's going to be her ability to turn this thing into marble.
Yeah.
That has to be that. There's like no other super easy, barely an inconvenience.
It was very, very convenient. Druig's like, no, I can't control its mind. You have to do it. And the whole time before that, she's like, no, I don't think I can. And then he's like, no, you have to do it. And then she's like, okay, I'll do it. Yeah.
With no consequence at all to her system or whatever. But yeah, I mean, they set it up in the movie with her turning like some dude into a celestial into a, not celestial, but a deviant into a tree. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so like that was your first time.
Yeah.
Your second time is stopping a fucking celestial.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
No pressure.
Right.
Okay, you can do this.
Yeah, just everyone like combine your powers like Captain Planet.
Yeah.
Boom. Yeah.
They are kind of like Captain Planet if you think about it though.
And the Power Rangers.
Because it's like the most important one of all is heart. you know?
That's true.
And then
Yeah.
basically Cersei is like Heart, because she's the one with like the most empathy for the humans, and she's the one that like saves the day, but the whole time she thought that, you know, she wasn't powerful enough, and Icarus always underestimated her, and she's like, I'll show you, boom.
And then Cersei's like, hey, Sprite, I think I still have some power left from whatever that was, so I can turn you into a human
Exactly.
since you hate being a child. And that's a thing she knows how to do. Sure, yeah, okay. Well, I guess they're pretty good friends, huh? Yeah, except for Sprite literally stabbing
Stabbed
her in the back just a
yeah.
few minutes earlier. Oh my god. And then Icarus feels super guilty, so he flies into the sun. Well, I mean, if you're gonna have a character named Icarus, gotta fly that guy into the sun for sure. Yeah, our hands are kind of tight on that one for sure. And then a big celestial shows up and kidnaps some of the Eternals. Oh wow, what happens with that? Hopefully this movie does well so we can expand on that. That's how the movie ends. It is, yeah. Well, I mean, we're gonna have our obligatory mid-credit scene. I mean, yeah, we gotta do that. That's tradition, you know? Remember when it was just Nick Fury walking around recruiting people into the Avengers? Yeah, simpler times. That is not where we're at anymore. Why, what happens in this one? An alcoholic troll pops out of a space portal and introduces one of the guys from One Direction. I mean, yeah, okay, that may as well happen, sure. So what do you think? Well, it sounds like it could be a fantastic series. This is a movie. I said what I said. But anyway, no matter what we do, people are gonna love it. I mean, this is the MCU we're talking about. Very true.
Oh,
Hey everybody,
yeah.
Ryan
Well
here.
below
Hope
60.
you
It fell well below 60.
The audience scores are much, much higher than that, right?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, who knows.
Where is it at now?
It's at 47% critics-wise.
Ooh.
Audience score is 80%. It dropped.
So it dropped a little.
It
yeah.
dropped, well, I wouldn't say a little, but it dropped. It was at 88%, it's down to 80. So it certainly dropped. 8% drop is quite significant.
I will say, though, that having watched it a second time, I did gain more of an appreciation for the movie. And the same things that I liked from the first viewing, I enjoyed even more. And when I took it as just I'm just going to enjoy hanging out with these characters that I really like and want to know more about,
Yeah.
I wasn't as angry or upset
Sure.
at the end of the movie.
No, I
you know?
was more accepting of what was going on. I mean, the little nitpicky things that bothered me the first time, I was able more to let go of.
Mm-hmm.
It was still kind of niggling there, and I'm like, I don't get it, but fine. And I let go of it more. There were moments that I got to laugh at and appreciate more, but there were also things that like stood out to me more the second time that I didn't like. Like Icarus, I didn't realize how stiff he was the entire movie until the second viewing. Kumail Nanjiani is an actor that I've always been kind of meh about. His scenes, he still had funny moments.
Yeah.
The over expository, Tinkerbell moment bothered me less the second time around because I knew that it was coming. You
Yeah.
know, a lot of the stuff that I know is coming, because I already got my angst out about it, it didn't bother me as much the next go around. But there are some things that are just plain dumb. Like, I still don't get Icarus's perspective in this. Why is he bringing the band back together if his objective is to allow the birth of the Celestial? If anything, he would be trying to create more issues for the Eternals to deal with.
Right, like, why don't you just distract them with the Deviants
Yeah,
or something? I don't know.
anything.
Or just leave them alone. They didn't
Yeah.
know what the hell was going on. Although, presumably, Cersei's pretty smart in some regards. And so she would have figured out that, oh, the earthquakes are weird. We should probably go and see Ajak and all of that. It probably would have played out that way. So I guess he had to be there just to kind of try and shepherd them in a certain direction. But he wasn't able to, succeed.
His whole thing, according to him, was he was trying to prevent them from dying at the hands of the Deviants,
Yes.
right? It's like, okay, fine. You killed the Deviant, now bounce. Fly. No one else can fly. Nobody else can fly. You fly off. You did your thing, now fly away. No one has to, you don't have to deal with the consequences of any conversation.
Watch can go try and catch up to you
Yeah.
in his private jet, but not be able to.
Right. All he has to go whoop, into space.
Yeah.
Like a Red Bull, parachute jump, just up at the top. Just no one can touch him.
Right.
It was just a little bit weird and slightly too convenient that he was bringing everybody back together. I noticed the second time around watching it just how many flashbacks there are and how much it bogs down the pace of the movie. I wish that there were fewer flashbacks. Like in the second viewing, the Babylon scene, I was like, why is there an action sequence right now? It doesn't even need it. It's not even necessary. Like this action
Right.
sequence is happening for no reason. There's nothing that really builds up to a lot of the action that happens in the film. The suspense only happens, I think, kind of once or twice. It happens once with, modern day you see the deviant come out of the water.
Yeah.
And looks at the dog, and then it goes back into the water. You're like, okay, something creepy is going to happen.
Yeah.
And then it shows up for that first action sequence in London, right?
That was pretty cool.
Well, it was built up.
Yeah.
And then the second one that's built up is the Celestial. The other action sequences in the film kind of just happen.
Yeah, more like to show you, oh, this is what these characters can do.
Yeah.
But talking about the characters, watching it the second time, I just was like, I really, really enjoy them. And I totally agree with you, and I totally agree with Ryan George that if it had been a show, we would have been able to spend even more time with these characters, because that was my biggest takeaway after watching it again. I was like, I just want to hang out with them more. Like, I want to see what happens with Makari and Druig, like what's going on with that relationship. And
I think anything is possible in this day and age. Anything is possible, because I would imagine the initial cut of this movie was like 4 hours long, right? Because you have the initial assembly cut, and those are always really, really long before you cut it down to something reasonable. Unless you're dealing with like an indie movie where you had no budget, so you're using everything you got. When the film Gangs of Wasseypur was brought to the States on Netflix, it was broken up into several episodes to make it more digestible for the American audience. That's how I watched it. Was not as 2 movies, but as like 6 episodes or something like that, which I thought was cool. And I think that it's entirely possible for Disney Plus to go, let's take this and, kind of play with it. I think that Tarantino, one of Tarantino's movies was actually done that way, where they sort of broke it up into parts. It's entirely possible to take the footage that ended up on the editing room floor and recut this, retool it in a way to make it a show. I think that's entirely possible. Would Disney actually do that? Who knows?
Yeah, and I mean, Ryan George brings up a bunch of really interesting things. Like, I never really thought about how the main deviant Crow, like, he's actually a really interesting character, and this whole idea about, them kind of serving the same masters, and serving masters that a master that doesn't care about them, and they're all just pawns. What would that be like to explore that relationship more?
There's no time.
There's no time, exactly. And also, another thing that he brought up, which I hadn't even thought about, was the whole thing about Kumail Nanjiani working out so hard to be this superhero, and he doesn't even get his shirtless moment. Like, come on now, he's a Bollywood star. Hello, there's so many shirtless scenes in Bollywood. He should have come out of the water and like flipped his hair or something and been like, ta-da, washboard abs, you know?
But anyway, you guys, let us know your feelings in the comments below. Please hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon, all notifications, and vote this up to let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're watching. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
Achara Kirk.
Peace out.